Welcome to the channel. Today we have a very special guitar. We're gonna review this beautiful Fender custom shop. So let's get to it right now. Alright, thank you for tuning in. This is a Fender custom shop, Knotty CuNiFe Telecaster, a Relic. So it's not marketed as a thin line, but it's actually a thin line. You can see the F hole. For whatever reason they don't want to say it's a thin line. It might have to do with the thrust rod or some of the specs that are not quite exactly as a thin line. Anyhow, this is called Knotty because the top is knotty pine wood and it has many knots. It's knotty because of the knots, right? So there's multiple knots on this particular example, and then you can get them with different numbers. Some of them don't have that many. So the other thing is that this guitar is a limited edition. So Fender is not saying how many of these guitars are going to be released, but I believe they have been around since 2020. This is a 2022 model. So let's go right to the specs of the guitar. So the body is a roasted pine wood, a two-piece roasted pine. Roasted process will give more stability to the guitar whenever there are temperature or humidity changes, so that's great. It's hollow body. It has a center block, so it has a solid pine center, and that's where the bridge is attached. And then they place the knotty pine top on it. So there's a good amount of finish checking. And I'll actually show you in great detail later. But there's finish checking, and also the grain of this pine is beautiful, especially in the sides. I'll show you later more, so you can see what I mean. What else is important in the body? Oh well, of course the CuNiFe. These are wide range CuNiFe humbuckers. So this CuNiFe means that is a mix of metals, 3 different metals, which is copper, iron, and nickel. And this is the story of these pickups is that Seth Lover, which originally invented the humbucker at Gibson, he was actually hired by Fender because they wanted him to create something similar for Fender, since the humbucker became super popular eventually with Gibson guitars, so Fender wanted something similar. However, Seth Lover could not, basically create the same thing because it was protected by a patent. So he came up with this particular design, which is a CuNiFe one. Is wide range, and meaning that it's a wider. If you basically measure it, it's wider than a humbucker. And then the other difference is that there's not a single plate, magnetic plate. Instead of that, each pole is actually a magnet. So it's kind of the basic design for a single coil Fender pickup. It's just that it's a humbucker implementation. Yeah, so that's one of the basic differences as well. You have to keep in mind that these humbuckers disappear completely after, I think, 1979. They were discontinued, and they were missing in action for all this time until recently, when they decided to try to give it another shot, and they were able to get the same specifications with those metals I described. So this is kind of pretty recent that we are able to get these humbuckers again. and you can actually buy. They sell them if you want to install them in one of your guitars. So we're gonna check some sound samples later to see how good these are. Based on what I read and what I have listened in YouTube and other reviews, these are the real deal. So that's pretty exciting. And keep in mind, you don't need to get this high-end custom shop guitar to get the CuNiFe humbuckers. There's actually the Telecaster, is the Fender American Telecaster 2, 1972 thin line that has them. So exactly the same CuNiFe pickups, you can get them in that guitar. And that guitar is about $2,000, so that's pretty much half the price of this guy here. So keep in mind that there's other options. I will particularly get, if I had to choose one of those, there's a natural ash finish. It looks beautiful. The top is just natural ash with all the beautiful grain from ash. So that will be an amazing substitute to this kind of guitar. Alright, so moving on with the specs, we have a 4-ply tortoise pickup. So another special appointment in this guitar will be the bridge. This is not your typical old-fashioned Telecaster bridge with the 3 saddles and those 3 screws that will basically hurt your hand. This is quite convenient and comfortable. It is a Stratocaster hardtail, basically, there's no tremolo on this thing, and works pretty great. It's age, as you know, it's a Relic guitar. It's a very good aging. You can see the stain on the steel. All the screws that are securing the pick guard and the switch are, you can see, is pretty aged. You can see the stains well. This is a 1 volume, 1 tone for the 2 pickups, and then a 3-way switch. Your typical Telecaster 3-way switch. There's a particularly nice binding if you can actually see the detail. It's a dark binding, very well done. Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful instrument. And then you can see, for example, in this edge here, you can see how that area is, the finish is pretty much gone, and you can touch the naked wood. So moving on with the specs of this guitar, let's talk about the neck. This is a double A maple, quarter sound maple tinted neck, and it's pretty comfortable. It's a 60s oval C shape. So I find it very comfortable, but that's subjective. That's just my personal preference. And there is a little bit of, I would say, flame. It's like it moves a little bit depending on the angle. So that's a pretty nice thing. In terms of the scale length, this is 25.5, typical Fender inch, and then this is 9.5 inch radius, and then there's like 21 tall jumbo frets. So these are pretty big and tall frets. So keep in mind that there are some people that don't like this kind of frets. I don't have a problem with frets. I can play any fret type, small, large, whatever it is. So keep that in mind. They are quite tall and thick. And then we have the rosewood fretboard. So this is a laminated round rosewood fretboard, and it's very comfortable. It's the only thing I find that is not kind of consistent in this guitar is that there's no aging whatsoever in this neck. I mean, not the neck, the fretboard. The fretboard it looks like a brand new guitar, so if you are compared with the rest of the components on the finish, like say the body of the guitar, the top with the finish checking, the stain on the screws, it feels like yeah, it feels like it came from a different guitar. So not sure why. Maybe it's just that rosewood doesn't age in a way that you can, you know, practically put it in an aged guitar. Yeah, I'm not sure. If you know, let me know in the comment section. But that's something that compared to other guitars that are aged, I find it a little quite different, like not consistent with the rest of the guitar. But it might be just that it's rosewood, because I'm used to seeing Fender aged guitars using the finished maple fretboards, where those you can actually see all the finish checking, and so yeah, maybe that is a wood that is not doesn't age in the way you think. This is something that is quite different, and I totally ignore. The truss rod is adjustable only on this side, so it doesn't have any way to adjust it from the headstock. It has to be right here on where the neck joins the body. So there's a screw there for that particular purpose. And this might be one of the reasons why they don't want to call it a thin line as well, because the thin line has the bullet, particularly the 72 has that bullet truss rod in this side. So yeah, that's a good thing that I just found out. Alright, so in terms of the headstock, we have the Fender Custom Shop logo limited edition, and I'll also show that to you later. We have the F Scholar tuners, nothing out of the ordinary there. The tuners, they feel very stable. Tuner stability is amazing. Then the other thing is that we have a plate for the neck that is limited edition as well. Limited edition, and then the Fender Custom Shop logo. And then there's plenty of finish checking on the back, and then here is plenty of damage as well. Beautiful, beautiful guitar. It's just, I love the pine wood. I have never had a pine guitar before, so this is quite exciting for me. It looks great. So let me just give you a little close up, see if I can make these cameras work, so you can appreciate the guitar a little better. See if I can show you a bit of the sides, because the sides, I love the grain on that pine. It's just beautiful. And then the back, you can see the plate with the limited edition custom shop. And a little close up on the bridge and the CuNiFe humbuckers. You can see there a lot of discoloration and the lacquer pretty much gone there. It's typical area where you see a difference there. Each guitars suffer quite a lot in that area with your arm resting there. Alright, so let's go now to check some sound samples to see how this guitar sounds, and we'll be back soon. Alright, let's check the resistance. So we have the volume and tone all the way to the max. We are in the bridge, so let's see if I can focus here. 10.26. Moving on with the neck. 10.05. And then just for fun, let's do the middle. Both pickups. 5.14. Now let's take some measurements of the width of the neck. First fret. 1.6, 530. Then on the 12, of 2.0, 340. Okay, let's check the thickness of the neck. Let's start with the 12. 1.0055. 1.0055. Then the first fret. We have 0.8480. 0.8480. Alright, so what can I say? I had this guitar for about, I would say, 1 month and a half. This guitar came from Wild West Guitars in Pasadena, and I like it a lot. I think you can play pretty much anything with this guitar. I think these humbuckers are quite amazing. So in case you don't know about what are my preferences and what kind of guitar I like to play, I am more like a Gibson kind of person. I came from Les Paul and then discovered PRS and then fall in love with PRS because I'm mainly a humbucker kind of guy. So I just like that thick sound of humbuckers. So I ended up with pretty much tons of 594s, McCarthy 594, which for me is the new standard for Les Paul in the new age. They are like a modern Les Paul, particularly with the new humbuckers they use for those guitars. I love them. So I have not been a big Fender fan because of that particular reason. Fender is more traditionally a single coil kind of guitar, but yeah, I know you can find many other examples nowadays that have humbuckers for sure, but they are mainly known for the single coils. However, I always wanted, I like how the necks on the Fenders feel, some of them the thicker ones, and I always wanted to get into Fender, try to find something that works for me. So with this CuNiFe now, this is like, wow, I want this CuNiFe humbuckers in every guitar I have. They are that good. So I don't have a single Fender guitar with single coils, except the Richie Kotzen one. I have a Telecaster Richie Kotzen that has, I think, a neck DiMarzio single coil. But yeah, so there's great Fenders out there with humbuckers, and this is, some people say this might be a Les Paul killer because you get many of the things you get when you play a Les Paul in this one. It's just, and I have been playing with different amps and plugins and effects, and this thing is it's amazing the flexibility you get into the tones. It's so many different tones you can get out of this guitar. You can play blues, rock, whatever you want, hard rock, even metal if you want. So So yeah, this is I'm quite blown away by it. I think it's amazing quality, and it feels like a very old guitar, which is a big plus. I mean, it's a custom shop age guitar, and that's something that you feel it when you grab an old guitar. You can tell that the neck has been used many times, and it's smooth, and yeah, you totally get that vibe of old guitar. And another thing I find with Fender compared to Gibson custom shop is that the Fender custom shops, it takes me less guitars testing different guitars. I have to test less guitars to find the one. So for example, to find my R9, my 1959 Gibson Les Paul custom shop, I went through 15 or 16 different 59s, because I will, if you don't find quality issues, you find that, this neck doesn't feel quite right, or it doesn't sound good, it doesn't resonate, the strings, you don't feel the strings vibrating your body, whatever it is, there's something always that, doesn't allow you to select the guitar. So you have to try different ones. But with Fender Custom Shop, I find that it will take me, instead of 15 or 16, it will take me 10 or 8 or even 5 sometimes. I find that the quality issues with the Fender Custom Shop are not that common. At least I haven't seen any shocking quality issues with custom shop from Fender. So, and this is an example. I didn't try this at all. I just bought it online, and it came just the way it came, and I played it and I love it. And it was just like, wow, this is the chosen one. So this came set up with 10s. The strings are 10s, 1040, 46, and I play 9s, so I'm gonna switch this to 9s. I find that this is too much tension for my fingers, so that's the only thing I'm gonna change. The action on this one is the standard action for Fender, which is fine to me. So I'm gonna leave it the way it is. So just switch to 9s, and then it's just gonna be a killer guitar. So what else is there to say? It's very light. It's only 6.4 pounds. So obviously hollow body, that's gonna help your back. So yeah, keep that in mind. This might be a Les Paul killer without the weight. So I'm telling you, man, it's like if you like humbucker guitars and you come from Les Paul, you are probably gonna like this guitar for many reasons. So yeah, thank you for watching this review. I hope this review is useful to you in case you are looking for a guitar like this or any other CuNiFe Fender guitar available. Keep in mind that these things are limited, but you don't know how many of them are out there and how many they will keep making. I just saw 2 new ones in Sweetwater. There's just 2 that came recently, I will say 2-3 days ago. They ran out of them for a while, and now they're available, only 2 of them, so check it out. Actually, you can see the contrast between one with many knots and one with just a few knots, because they have kind of one that is, similar to this one, like quite a lot of knots, and the other one has very subtle knots. So, and then again, remember that you can get this CuNiFe with the Fender American Telecaster 2 1972 thin line. That one has it, and they have 3 different finishes. I know that the one I love is a swamp. I don't know if it's swamp ash. I think it's just ash, natural ash top. It's gorgeous. So, but they do have other 2 different colors you can choose from. So that will be an excellent alternative to this guitar. I actually have a friend that has one, and I hear that guitar, and it sounds amazing. So yeah, so keep that in mind, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you the next time.